A very useful conceptualization of human cognitive abilities comes from the work of Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow. According to Kahneman, and supported by compelling experimental evidence, we all have two modes or cognitive systems for processing what we experience and reaching decisions. System one is effortless and impulsive, often driven by emotions. In contrast, system two allocates effort to mental activities and is essential for critical evaluation of what we experience.
One thing important to note is that anger promotes the prevalence of system one. It energizes us to act with limited access to deep cognitive skills, exaggerates confidence, and drives us to adopting narrow positions and to defend them aggressively. For these reasons, it is difficult to implement a collaborative approach or to give constructive feedback when angry. One method that favors setting expectations jointly with colleagues while protecting against the use of System 1 and facilitating the use of System 2 and fostering a collaborative communication style is the interest-based approach. Let's talk about how the interest-based approach is implemented, since it will be a very valuable tool to each of you as new supervisors.
To effectively implement the interest-based approach, you first need to acknowledge that any conversation takes place in a complex social context where we bring our different backgrounds and identities. Central to this context are previously set expectations and exchange feedback that must be clear at the time the conversation starts.
You will then need to identify interests. Interests are essential needs that must be met and values that must be respected by any decision about a specific issue. Interests are different from statements about what an individual may want under a particular set of conditions, and they may be different from what might just be the right feel. Interests transcend any particular issue. Remember, to implement the interest-based approach effectively, you will need to identify a set of interests for all the people involved in the conversation, as well as for stakeholders that could be impacted by the final decision. Here we've described some common examples that you might be familiar with. Are there any other interests you can think of that might be important to you as a supervisor or a principal investigator? Please feel free to pause the video here for a few minutes to reflect and identify a few of your own interests or values.
In this collaborative approach, you are now ready to identify the specific issue to be considered. It is best to conceptualize it as a question that needs an answer in the form of an explicit, jointly set expectation. Here, it is essential to be disciplined and to focus on a single issue at a time. Avoid jumping from one issue to another. Focusing on the selected issue, you now need to work jointly to generate as many possible options or answers to the questions posed by your selected issue. Be mindful to not evaluate these options immediately. Immediate evaluation of the proposed options might take you back to a competing situation that we want to avoid. See these options as neutral and not as owned by one particular individual or subgroup.
Once the options are listed, you can then start the evaluation process, where each option will be challenged or assessed by two questions. First of all, is the option addressing the issue? Secondly, is the option serving any of the identified interests? Any option that fails one of these two questions are excluded, leaving you with a set of options that are likely to be based on the qualities of System 2, rational and effective.
In summary, the implementation of the interest-based approach presented here follows these linear steps. Understand the context in which you are, consider interests of all people involved, identify an anticipated issue, generate options without discussing them as they are proposed, evaluate the set of options, make a decision that represents a jointly set expectation.
The same approaches we've been discussing can be used as an active and collaborative method for conflict resolution. The key difference when dealing with a conflictual situation is that the issue is the dominant factor and is present even before having the opportunity to identify interests. Additionally, the parties involved, perhaps you and one of your graduate students, have already stated strong competing positions that might be the products of using the emotional reaction or impulsive outcome of System 1, thus reversing what may already be in place and engaging System 2 in a collaborative conversation style are essential steps for moving forward and having a productive relationship.
We hope that this approach will help you foster stronger relationships with members of your team. Personally, I found that it's easier to apply the interest-based approach to the task of jointly setting expectations than to use it to resolve conflicts. But the habits you will develop using the approach for setting expectations will make it easier to tackle conflict resolution when or if such conflicts arise. Keep in mind that components of the approach can be used in different situations other than setting expectations or conflict management. For example, having a conversation to generate multiple options without immediate evaluation of each can be very useful in any group decision process.